Now you can have it. Oh, mine
Our co-host.
Yeah, he's 20. Hello, Gary. How was Mazal with Gary? Malcolm, can you spare one of those napkins?
Hey, Yossi.
I mean, they're pretty much all like gush type yeshiva kind of thing.
Toma, I asked the lady for high school if she'd still bring me, but the lady is no, ילד, קיבלת אישור הורים להיות פה?
לא.
קיבלת אישור הורים?
קיבלתי אישור ממני.
מי? הסבא שלך הביא אותך?
מעצמי.
קיבלת אישור מאבא?
מעצמי. ממי קיבלת אישור? כן, מי?
סבתא שלי.
Okay, on both sides. Just
Go to the center. Go to the center. All the way to
to kick off the evening,
the...
we would like, yeah, up here.
תתרחק, גומר, תתרחק.
בוא לכאן.
Make sure the speaker is working over there.
Do you hear? On both sides, to kick off the evening, we would like to invite the first speaker. There's only going to be two speakers, but the first speaker, this is our present to the first speaker. Because the first speaker for the past 3-4 Siyum just about has basically taken it upon himself to make the Siyum, make them by him, to head them, and he does them so quietly, so shlila. On top of that, he comes up with stories every morning before he says a halacha. So much so that we don't remember the halacha, just the stories. But it's a big kavod and it's a big schus for us that we have Dr. Factor as part of the chabura and part of the team. We want to be mechabedim to say a few words. A few.
It's a tremendous zechus to be here today. We all deserve a round of applause for ourselves, day in and day out. They're committed to learning the Torah, and we all know that Torah is the best azach. We know that. So where are we going with this? So, people would think that that the yard site of the Baal Shem Tov would be Simchas Torah, and the yard site of the Vilna Gaon would be Shuas, but it's na'afuch. Because you think that the Baal Shem Tov was just flying around in the sky, running around doing miracles? His chaya came from the Torah. And you think that the Vilna Gaon was sitting there like a brisker, sad, ripping his hair over a gemara? He was besimcha. So Davka was na'afuch. And when the Vilna Gaon died, you don't know this, but when the Vilna Gaon died, they walked into Volozhin. His project, Ruchai Volozhin, looks at all the Bachram sitting in the yeshiva, and they were downtrodden, and they were sad, and they were bereaving their Rebbe, the Gadol, the Vilna Gaon. And what did he do? He banged on the bima, and he wrote the following song. Even the greatest guy, the Vilna Gaon, he's no longer with us. He can't grab another daf. He can't grab another piece of Torah. The greatest of the great, the Vilna Gaon. You have opportunities presented to you. I want to tell you one more story. This week was the yard site of the Chassam Sofer. Chassam Sofer was a Gadol Adar in the late 1700s. He had a machloikas with the Yismach Moshe or Moshe Teitelbaum, who was the forefather of what was to become Satamar. And what was the machloikas? I had it once in my life. It's amazing. Stuffed goose liver. It's absolutely a delicatessen. It's wonderful. The Chassam Sofer said if it's mutter kalacha to stuff a goose because the sharp corn cobs do not punch a hole in the esophagus and will not make it treif. And the Yisrael Moshe said, put for carrot, no. So what do they do? They're going back and forth with shuvas. And what do? They said, enough, let's do an experiment. The Yisrael Moshe took 10 geese and stuffed them and shafted them and took their esophagi. Is that a word? Where's the chassan? Is that a word? Where's the chassan? Esophagi?
You're the doctor.
No, the chassan, the good doctor. Is there a word, esophagi? So he took the esophagi and he dunked it in a barrel of water to see if there would be air bubbles. And the Chassam Sofer did the same. And do you know what happened?
What?
All 10 geese of the Chassam Sofer were kosher in the Mahadran. And all 10 geese of the Yismach Moshe were treif legamri. They had holes in them. Because Teva follows Psak Halacha. The Torah is not just a blueprint of life, but it is life. The Torah dictates Teva. The Torah is our life. And the mantra that Eli has brought into all of our lives, it's not about the daf, it's about the yomi. It's about being kovea, eating the Torah day in and day out, learning no matter what happens, vacation, Yom Tov, even Yom Kippur, when we're sitting all day. It's all about in kovea, eating the Torah, dedicating ourselves, showing Kodesh Baruch Hu that we love Him by learning His Torah. And that's what this Simcha tonight is about, that we're celebrating each of our accomplishments. And I'm going to give over the mic to Benny the Butcher, who's going to say the Hadron, and grace us with the Siyum and the Sechta.
Adon הלך מסכת כתובס ועד החלון, דייתון הלך מסכת כתובס ודעת החלון, לא ניסו שמילוך מסכת כתובס ולא ניסו שמינון, לא בעל מדין ולא בעל מדוסי, אדון הלך מסכת כתובס.
We should all say it together with them. We're Mesyimim now, so we can say it.
אדון הלך מסכת כתובס ועד החלון, דייתון הלך מסכת כתובס ודייתון החלון, לא יסיסנו שמינוך מסכת כסובס ולא יסיסנו שמינון, לא ידעו מדהם ולא בעמוד אוסי, ידעו מלוך מסכת כסובס ועד החלון. ידעו מלוך מסכת כסובס ודעת החלון, לא יסיסנו שמינוך מסכת כסובס ולא יסיסנו שמינון, לא בעלמא דין ולא בעלמא דאוסי. רוצה לפניך עדינו, יליהינו ולאבסים שתהית רוסו מנסינו בעלמא זה ותהי לימוד ולא לבוא. אני בפופו, רמי בפופו, אנחנו בפופו, אחוי בפופו, אבא מורי בפופו, רפו בפופו, רוחיש בפופו, סוכו בפופו, אדו בפופו, דורו בפופו, ארם נעדין אלי נדירו אסוסכו בפילים ותפירי סמכו בית ישראל. ונהיה כולנו אנחנו אצצנו אצצנו עמכו בית ישראל, כולנו ידי שמכו מדי סוסכו. ואוי בית תחכבינו מצווה כי אלום היא לי בתום בחוקך למען נהיה בשלוי לא נשכח בכבודך כי בום חיסון יברוך אתה עדינוי דייני חוקך אמן 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 צכל הבית בואי אנחנו לפניך עדינוי והיינו לה בציינו ושם תחכנו משהו ושמדש ושם תחכנו משהו תומס לא משקיעים והם משקיעים לא משקיעים לבי תוירו והם משקיעים לדבורים בתל אימונו אמני והם אמני אימונו אמני מקבל שכר והם אמנים ואינו מקבלים שכר, אנו רוצים והם רוצים, אנו רוצים לחי אלום הבוא והם רוצים ובאר שחר שלם, ארבעת עולים תורדים ובאר שוחס אנשי דומים אומרים לא יחציו מהם ואני אפתח בחירות לפניך עדינוי אלוהי כשם שדרתה ניסי מסכת כסובס כן תעזריני להתחיל מסכת היסטוריה אחרים מסיימון ללמוד וללמד נשמע בלס הסכם מסקול דיבי תמית לסכו באבו סקוס כל התנועים והמרואים ובידך וחומים יעמו הגיעו לזרי שלתום ושתום ומפי ולפי זרי וזר הזרי עד אלום וסקאי בי וסער לכחות ותחו אסרוך ושוך בכו תשמור עליכו והקיצוי סו היא תשיחכו כי בי ירבו יומכו והוסיפו לכו שנו ישחי לא יכולים במינו ושמאל לו אוי שלו חובוי העדינוי לא יצאמו איתי העדינוי יבורך וסמות השלוי סקדי וסקדי שמי רבו יום מנהוד נוסיד ישחדתו לחיום מסעיו ולא יספו יסוין לחיי אנו ולמי בנקרתו לירושלים ושחלה לאכול בגבו ומרקר פרחונו נכרו מן ערו והבסוף פרחונו לשמר לעשרי והמליך קודשו בריחו מאפוסי וחייכו אני ומחוין וחי לכו בית ישראל והגדול בזמן קוראים ובום בין לעולם מנון מי עוד מה יוזבח משתבח יספר וסלמה מסנסי ויסדו ויסלה ויסלו שמי לקודשו בריחו ואילו מקום בחסום של עושות ושבחסום ולכו מסוד על נרום בעולמו במרומי על ישראל והרבנו ועל תלמידיהם ועל כל תלמידי סבידוי ועל כל מן דסקים לא רע יסוד ועשו קדיש עודין ודי בכל עשה ועשה יהיה להון נכון שלמה הבו חינו וחיז דבח ממחי נריחי ודון נריחי ופוקונו מקודם אבו נשמעי והרוב במרומי שלמה משמעי וחי טוי ואימולין על כל ישראל במרומי שלום ירמו ויעשה שלום עלינו על כל ישראל וימרו
Without any further ado, Benny has become an integral part of the shir. Without Benny's in the morning, it's just not the same. Benny's journey back to learning you're about to hear about is very inspiring. We chose him to be the keynote speaker because he'll really give you an appetite for learning, an appetite for dessert. So without any further ado, let's call up Benny the Butcher.
Shari Yosef.
Good evening, good evening. Good evening there.
Moti.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, right side. First of all, I would like to thank my partner, Dr. Factor, for beautiful job, beautiful Siyum, beautiful party. Before I start, I realized that people who get up to give a speech, they start with asking a mechila for something. I have no idea why, but that's what happens usually. So I want to ask a mechila for the crowd. If Rebelli says that his English is Panovich, so in best case scenario, my English is Panovich Aktana. But still, no, I'll try my best. We say every morning the Mishnah Eilu Dvorim She'en Lohem Shiur B'Pe'o V'Bikurim. And then the Mishnah continues, Eilu Dvorim She'odom Choichel Peroisem V'Olam Hazeh V'Akeren Kayemes V'Olam Habo. The Mishnah ends with Talmud Torah Keneged. The Mishnah ends with Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam. A little bit about myself. I grew up, as I said, in Eretz Yisrael. I went to Haredi Chador in Yerushalayim. Went around in the nice part of all of my yeshivas. Baruch Hashem, got kicked out of most of the places. Even in the last stop, Baruch Hashem was a big success. A few years in Yeshiva Shar Yosher.
Yeah!
Okay, yeah. But even then, my connection to the Gemara didn't go. I mean, Baruch Hashem, I learned a little bit. We did Mishnah, Chumash, Halacha a lot. But me and Gemara weren't the best friends. I don't know if it's because of the language, but it just didn't work out. I got to know Rebelli, Baruch Hashem, I think like from the beginning that he came to Eretz Yisrael. We used to daven together, Shachris in Oyev Yisrael Shul, in Ramat Beit Shemesh. Now, it was very interesting, like, since the first day, he didn't know my name. He probably doesn't know it till this day. By the way, it's Danny, Shalom Aleichem. He used to, shtach, that's the word? Shtach me. You gotta learn. What do you learn? The Gemara, you Daf Yomi. Okay, I mean, yeah, man, what, a little bit. And every other day, he used to come to me like, now, it's not like I knew him or something, but just went on and on and on. A few years later, I remember coming home from work, and there's a bus in front of me, and I see Ellie's face smashed all over the bus. So I'm saying to myself, it's one thing to boss people around, even though you don't know their names, just to tell them to learn. But from here to put your picture all over the buses of Ramat Beit Shemesh, just so people are going to do the Daf Yomi with you. I didn't understand what happened. A year ago, I was taking a walk with my wife, a Shabbos walk, in Getty Street, and all of a sudden, down in Getty walks famous rock star, Rebelli, I go down the street. He goes straight to my wife and he says to her, "Your husband should do the daf." Now, my wife, she ain't Benny. She has a lot of meter, so she didn't slap back. She just said, it's not that he doesn't learn, but it's early in the morning and it's time when he helps me out, takes out the children. And thus and yes, it goes on and on and on. So he says to her, "Shtuyot! Do the daf and it's all going to be the same." Okay. Literally 4 days after, by the way, was the Shabbos of Dovi's Kiddush. Literally 4 days afterwards, it was a Wednesday. 2 members of the cult, right? Katya, come into Benny's, Hillel Kamyansky and his wife. "You gotta do the daf, go do the daf, go change your life, go do the daf. Okay, take it easy, like, it's okay, we went through that already for a few years. So I tell them, no, it doesn't work out. So Hillel says to me, "Come, Motzei Shabbos. Children don't need to go to school Motzei Shabbos. You don't need to take them, you don't need to do anything. Just come Motzei Shabbos." I can't believe I told my wife, "Listen, they're chasing me up to my own property. It's not ending." So she said, "Give it a chance. Give it a chance." Motzei Shabbos, Pashas Vayigash, Tainis Choftes. First time I went into MDY Beis Medrash. someone set me up, pushed me to the front seat, where you don't want to sit exactly. And Rebbe comes in, he sees me, he gives me a big hug, and he says, okay, shir goes on. I come home, and I remember my wife says, "No, how was it?" So I said to her, "It's not like these 45 minutes are going to connect me to Gemara, but I did feel wanted. First time in many years, I felt wanted in this measure." We're talking about 321 days ago. Baruch Hashem, haven't missed a daf. Most of them in Mesyimim. Now, as Rebbe says, it's not about us, it's not about me, it's about inspiring other people. A few months ago, I wrote to Rebbe, Lichvoid Moiri v'Rabbi. And I wrote, yes, I mean Moiri v'Rabbi. Because it's one thing to teach a Gemara shir. It's another thing to do it together with all Yiddishkeit through that shir. Now, I think that's what the Mishnah says. That's what the Mishnah means. It says the Talmud Torah keneged kulam. It's all about the daf. You do the Gemara, you learn the daf every day, and all the Yiddishkeit comes in through the daf into our lives. Now, there's two things every Yid needs to do 18 times a day. The first thing, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but the second thing is to hear stories about how Eli changed someone's life. Now, I was thinking to myself, how can it be that everyone used that sentence, changed our life? And I think that's the answer. I'm sure we all had better sukkahs. We all put another effort into the Arba Mini we bought this year. We all put more effort into our tzitzis, some of having them already painted blue,
One day.
Yeah, now Shnai Mikra is in style. It's all about the daf. Now, I believe everyone over here and everyone b'chlal went to a certain stage of their life to a Gemara shir. They learned the daf. They did certain learning. The first day of coming into shir is probably, according to the Daf Yomi, is probably the easy part. Getting up every day to start the day with the daf, no matter which day it is, no matter how you feel, no matter how you slept, if you slept, to start the day with those 45 minutes is something that changes our life. So I want to tell you, Rebbe, so true. It did change my life. Not only my life, my family's life. Everything is just much better. Now, like we said, now, if you would think about it, learning a daf Gemara, why? So I could tell you, Rebbe, that I could give edus about myself. Even my business is probably one of the best years I've ever had in business in the last year since I've been here. And I think that's what...
Dude, he gives enough.
And I think that's what we all mean when we say change our life. It's really not only a millennium Gemara, it's the whole Yiddishkeit that you give us through those 45 minutes. I know how much you sacrifice for the daf. I know we hear how much your wife sacrifices for this huge program. It's called MDY. On behalf of my own family and myself, I would like to thank you HaKadosh Baruch Hu give you tons of siyata d'shmaya and health and many, many happy years. And we should be zoiche, like we said, like I said to you, that the Siyum Hashatz, we're not going to be 15,000, we're going to be 150,000. Shkoyach, Mazal.
Wow. Boys, listening to this speech, you think Benny is a natural. He is a natural. He pulled it off. But I got to tell you, Benny didn't want to speak. Can you imagine? He didn't want to speak. He said he's not a speaker. He never speaks in public. But Benny's the type of guy who takes things into his hands. He's a doer. He came to me a few months ago. He says he wants to open up a little steeple in Yerushalayim with TV screens, empty wine steeple in Yerushalayim. He's a Omer Va'isa. It's going to happen. So when I asked him to speak, and he said no, I said, I'm telling you, you're going to give chizik to the island. Did he not give us chizik, Rabbi Isai? Before Sukkot, one last thing. Before Sukkot, Benny was up with 18 of his employees throughout the night, cutting meat for the Olam. And he never missed the shir. Never missed. He had every excuse in the world to sleep in. The hardest days of the year. I saw him. He was falling asleep. But he made it to the shir. So Yishkoyach Benny, beautiful, beautiful speech. You should take your koiches, all the koiches. Be mechazik more you to join Torah. Mazal tov, everybody. Mazal tov.
Yes.